Recently, I went through the embarrassment of explaining what based means to my 53-year-old business teacher. Still does not compete with that time you heard me rant about Skyrim to an acquaintance of mine. That revealed to me how much of a lunatic I am to go on a rant so passionate it makes Castro jealous about a video game considered a masterpiece by millions. So today we're going to talk about an actually good Elder Scrolls game, Oblivion. So Oblivion is very vast, and there's a lot I could talk about, so I decided to do the 4 main guilds and the arena. What about the main story, smooth skin? I have never done the main story of any Elder Scrolls game, and I never plan on it. If this video does well, I'll cover the free DLCs which add a lot of content, with Shivering Isles, the Knights of the Nine, and Horse Armor. I also am using mods to add graphics. If you disagree with this heart-wrenching moral decision, thank you for your view, exits right there. So once you boot up the game, you're met with this cutscene.
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor. But for all these years, I've never been the
Then you get to create your character. You can choose one of the 10 races. You have Imperials, which are Italians. You have Redguards, who are black. Bretons, who are sadly French. And Nords, who are Swedish. And those are just the human races. There are also Elves, Cat People, and Lizards. This playthrough, I'll be playing Hector the Imperial. After a waffle maker accident, he became permanently disfigured. And he traveled across Tamriel, begging for money for a surgery to fix his face, but he was arrested. So once you spawn into the game, you're met with some story stuff involving the Colgate Corporation, a demon, and the Emperor. You choose a birth sign, which gives you an advantage throughout the entire game. I chose the Steed because I like fast. You also get to choose a class, but that's code for make your own class. In this game, there are 3 kind of ways to approach most situations: combat, stealth, or magic. Combat is like fighting my ego with a toothpick. It will take a long time, but once it's killed, it's quite satisfying. Stealth is when you press the auto run button in a corner while snaking, touch grass, come back to your computer only to discover you're an expert in stealth. In Morrowind, you can break the game by getting an intelligence score bigger than the population of India, while in Oblivion they nerfed magic so much it's almost useless. So naturally, I made a magic character. I named my class Based because I'm a failure. The Emperor gives you his amulet, tells you to find a guy named Jeff, and he gets the England experience. Then you escape the sewers and the world is opened up to you. I remember once I got to this point in the game, I decided to go on a crusade against the infidels in the Imperial City Market District. With my rusty dagger and leather armor, I started stabbing the homeless and was confronted by the guards. Given the option, I resisted arrest and was stabbed and got my knees broken, then died. I tried again but surrendered to the guards and was shipped off to prison. I tried breaking out but then was abused by the Imperial Guard again, so I just served my sentence. I then finally killed an infidel, a diseased homeless man. You can do a lot in this game, and not just crusades against the homeless. There's a lot of quests to go on and places to discover. As I mentioned, there are a few guilds you can join where you can get gear and reliable work. You have the Mages Guild, which is self-explanatory. There's the Fighters Guild where you get generic fantasy work to kill goblins and bandits. You have the Thieves Guild where you help the leader of the Silk Road gain his identity back. And finally, there's the Dark Brotherhood, a murder cult which worships a sentient dead body.
Feeling it now, Mr. Krabs.
To gain full membership to the Mages Guild, you need to get a letter of recommendation from all 7 guild halls across the province. Each guild hall represents the 6 branches of magic, so you may realize there's an extra guild hall. We'll get to that later. So the letter of recommendation quests range from simple favors to dungeon crawls. In the Shaden Hall quest, you meet a high elf named Falkar, who is practicing necromancy. Necromancy is a big issue since the Archmage, the leader of the Mages Guild, banned its practice, and this was a very controversial of many leaving the guild. I mention this guild because it hints at the main antagonist of this guild's questline. So once you get accepted into the Mages Guild, your first quest will be to craft a staff. Well, the materials you need are in a cave a little ways away. Once you arrive there, you find out necromancers killed everyone there. So your next few missions will be gaining information about the necromancers. You meet with the Countess Skingrad, who's a vampire, Empire, explore ancient ruins, and learn how to make black soul gems. Eventually, you'll start getting missions exclusively from the Archmage. Then you'll start fighting the Necromancers after you learn that Mannimarco, the King of Worms, is the leader of the Necromancers. Mannimarco is a reoccurring character in the Elder Scrolls, with his first appearance being all the way back in Daggerfall. The years have been tough on him indeed. The Bruma Guildhall gets attacked, with almost everyone being killed except this cat gypsy. Hey, Future Hector here. You see, I used the word gypsy. You may think, wow, that's a racism right there, guys. Let's cancel him. Don't do that. You see, this one YouTuber made like a 10-minute long video explaining why the Khajiit cat people are gypsies. They share commonalities in language and all that. Don't cancel me. Well, if you do, make sure it goes like far and wide. I need the attention. I'm not good at this YouTube thing. In one of the quests you get to kill the High Elf from earlier, Falcar, because he had a soul gem needed to kill Mannimarco. While we're talking about quests, I want to talk about this one quest where you show up to like this totally not evil looking area and everyone's wearing Mages Guild outfits. And once you tell the trader that you're gonna kill them, they all quickly go into their Necromancer uniforms. These people can change outfits like Agent 47. Eventually, the Archmage makes 2 archers and he pulls a Vietnamese monk. Then after clearing a dungeon of Necromancers, you meet Mannimarco and kill him, ending the quest line. Overall, Mages Guild quest, pretty fun and underrated. Play it pretty fun. So the gameplay loop in this game is pretty simple. Go to Quest Giver, go to location, kill, return to Quest Giver, get money, and level up. But leveling in this game is kind of broken. I became the leader of the Mages Guild, got the highest rank possible in the Fighters Guild, became the Grey Fox of the Thieves Guild, and the Listener of the Dark Brotherhood only at level 5. Combat is pretty fun. Sure, it has the substance of smashing 2 action figures with each other, but it's still pretty fun. To cast magic in Skyrim, you just like dual wield it. In Morrowind, you have to like equip it like as its own weapon. In Oblivion, you can cast like magic out of your hand like while wielding a sword. So basically, you can like cast fireballs at people, or cast fire by touch, or cast fire on yourself. You know, all the normal stuff. My only complaint with like the combat is when you get a higher level, the difficulty never changes because when you level up, the enemies get better gear, so it never really gets to the point where like you feel powerful. But Fighter's Guild is self-explanatory in its goals. You kill stuff for money. So your quests will be things like clear a mine of goblins or help kill mountain lions who have infested an old woman's basement. You will switch between 3 different mission vendors, a Red Guard in Anvil, an Orc in Shadenhall, and a Dark Elf in Coral. Eventually, you uncover that a rival mercenary company, the Blackwood Company, is beginning attention because they're taking many of the contracts from the guild. So I'll talk more about the story, but my save is bugged. So on this one mission, you'll kill a bandit leader, and you're supposed to talk with this guy to end the mission, but the dialogue to end the mission won't show up. And my last save was all the way back in the Mannimarco fight. One of the best parts of Oblivion is the map. I already made a whole video talking about all the cities. You want to hear me talk about it, but I wanted to discuss the Imperial City though. The Imperial City is great with multiple districts, each one being like their own little city. First, the Market District is where you can buy all your necessities. First, the Harbor District where all the poor people live. There's also the Arena, which is the hub for the 5th Guild, kind of. The Arena is exactly how it sounds. You fight people in the Colosseum. There's nothing really notable about it until you get the Grand Champion, the final boss of the whole thing. The fight is hard, but if you're interested, you can find his father's journal, which shows him that his father is a vampire. And the Grand Champion will just let you kill him if you show him that. So I recommend you do that. And once you become the Grand Champion, you meet this guy.
Get my Aprilla out and do burnouts on your front lawn and then
you should kill him. So I went to jail during one of the Mages Guild missions, and I received a note from a beggar written by the Grey Fox. From what we know, the Grey Fox is a famous thief hated by the Imperial Guard. The note said to join the Thieves Guild, go to a certain location in the Imperial City at night. Once you arrive there, you find out you gotta steal a journal and a competition to join the Thieves Guild. To find the location of the house you gotta rob, you gotta bribe the beggars. Or if you're a cheapskate, you can use google.com. Once you get the journal, you win the competition, and now you're in the Thieves Thieves Guild. Basically, how the Thieves Guild works is you steal stuff and you sell it, and eventually, once you sell a certain amount of items, you get a special quest. And these special quests are pretty fun. These range from stealing tax records of the city, or even stealing an Elder Scroll. For the simple minded people, an Elder Scroll is important because it's the literal name of the game. My favorite mission is called Lost Histories, where you gotta sneak into a prison to rescue a thief. Then you remember, oh wait, the Count of Skengrad's a vampire and he's doing some weird stuff in there. So eventually you get to meet the Thieves Guild leader, the Grey Fox, and you learn that the mask he's wearing is like its own identity and it took over him, and his former identity was erased from history, which is pretty neat. So, your next few quests will be getting items to prepare for the greatest heist of all, to steal an Elder Scroll. This quest is pretty fun. The sewer part's kind of frustrating, but everything past that's really enjoyable. Then you find out the Grey Fox was the Count of Anvil, which is cool. But I couldn't focus because guess who showed up out of nowhere? Overall, Thieves Guild, pretty fun quest line and would be the best, except the final guild is 10 times more fun. So there are a few things I'd like to mention before we talk about the Dark Brotherhood. So I'm gonna ramble on about lore and other pointless things for the next minute or two, so if you want to skip all that, here's the timestamp. So basically, Cyrodiil is the capital province of the Empire, which makes up the provinces of High Rock, Hammerfell, Skyrim, Morrowind, Elsewhere, Valenwood, and the Somerset Isles. They tried conquering Blackmarsh, but it's a giant jungle of Viet Cong lizards, so they did not get far. So the lore is pretty complicated, with it being written by multiple people. Ted Peterson wrote Arena and Daggerfall, Michael Kirkbride wrote Morrowind, and due to the intensity of Morrowind's writing, it's alleged that Michael was consuming a lot of skooma while writing. Michael Kirkbride still writes lore for the games unofficially to this day. There's also Lawrence Sick, who wrote the lore for Elder Scrolls Online, and Ken Rolliston, who did some writing as well. But the issue is, with all these people writing things, sometimes it conflicts. There are also plenty of retcons that happen as well, and sometimes they just change the game's lore to make it easier to make. For example, Cyrodiil was written as a giant jungle, but when you go there in Oblivion, you find out the first Emperor used magic to turn it into a generic fantasy land. But in Elder Scrolls Online, you go to Cyrodiil before any of that happened, and the devs didn't want to make a giant jungle for nostalgia reasons or because they're lazy, so it's just a generic fantasy land again because, who knows? Let's also talk about the Khajiit, the cat gypsy people. So depending on how the moons are, a Khajiit can be a small house cat with human intelligence, or a literal tiger, or just, a humanoid. But this is never really shown in gameplay, because Todd says so. Finally, also the Khajiit are not allowed within cities in Skyrim because they sell skooma and scam people. But if you play as a Khajiit, this does not apply. So, if does the lore matter? This is a horrible fake laugh. No, the lore doesn't matter. The lore is only meant to keep Elder Scrolls fans distracted until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out with half the features Skyrim has. Wait, I forgot this is an Oblivion review. Video can continue. So if you kill an innocent person and take a nap, you're greeted with this.
You sleep rather soundly for a murderer. That's good. You'll need a clear conscience for what I'm about to propose.
Basically, you're given a job offer at the Dark Brotherhood of a murder cult of Tamriel. To join the guild, you'll be tasked with killing an old man named Rufio in the Ill Omen Inn. This is easy since he sleeps all day like any boomer, so once he's dead, you'll sleep in his bed like you should, then you'll be greeted with this guy again. Lucius is the person you're talking with. He's a high-ranking member of the guild. He tells you some lore stuff about the Night Mother and Sithis, and he tells you how to get quests. You need to go to the Sanctuary in Shadenhall, which is in an abandoned house. So once you go to the Sanctuary, you meet everyone there. They're pretty kind, hopefully nothing bad happens to any of them. So you'll get missions from this vampire. These missions will be pretty fun, like assassinating a pirate on his ship, or faking the death of someone who owes too much money to the IRS. Eventually you'll get a new mission giver, Ochiva, an Argonian. These missions will be harder, like poisoning the medicine of a warlord, or killing the former guard captain of the Imperial City. Eventually, Lucius will want to meet with you. When you meet with him, he tells you gotta kill everyone in your sanctuary because one of them's a traitor. I always found this mission pretty fun. There's a lot of freedom you can have with it, and once you kill everyone, it's pretty satisfying. Once you complete the mission, Lucius tells you all your future missions will be dead drops. So after doing 2 missions, the well-crafted envelopes strangely become loose sheets of paper, and after doing a few missions, you'll find out the big secret.
No! I'm too late. I thought I could get here in time. Thought I could stop you! Your first dead drop contract. You carried that out, killed Celidaean. After that, you eliminated the Draconis family, as ordered then. Betrayal. Your dead drops went unvisited. Your targets ignored. Instead, you have been systematically killing off all of the members of the Black Hand.
Turns out the dead drops have been swapped out and you've been killing the leaders of the Dark Brotherhood. Lucius has a plan though, to go to your next dead drop and apprehend the person responsible for all of this. You talk to him, he tells us he was paid by someone at the lighthouse to do it. You go to the lighthouse basement, and once you arrive there, it's weird to say the least, of dead dogs and bodies laying around. His mother's head is on a plate, and he has a journal where he writes mad ramblings about Lucius LeChance, his mother, in colors. With all the evidence you need, you go to Lucius, but we were a little too late. The Dark Brotherhood has no idea Lucius was innocent, and the traitor is still on the loose. For us the issue that there's nobody to talk with the Night Mother, the dead body we get orders from, which means all business is halted. So what remains of the guild goes to the Night Mother to perform an ancient ritual to talk to the Night Mother. She told everyone else the traitor is still on the loose, and of course the traitor was a French guy, so we kill him and ending the quest line. I can't do justice on how good this quest line is. It gives the player so much freedom to complete their objectives. It's a lot of fun. This is perhaps one of the best quest lines in gaming. I have played every good Elder Scrolls game, and no other game has immersed me like Oblivion. If you enjoy RPGs or are interested in this game, play it. It's pretty cheap and has plenty of replayability. If this video does well, I'll talk about some DLCs and side quests. If you made it this far in the video, why don't you subscribe? You'll be notified when I make more game reviews or even more Elder Scrolls videos. Thank you for watching. Bye!